And so today I did a little drawing. Whilst I was away, I did a little sketch of my daughter's kitchen. So sitting looking into her kitchen. Hi, my name's Denise. I'm an artist in the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia. And I've just come home from Melbourne, where there was the Affordable Art Fair, Melbourne. And I'm trying to get back into the hang of things back in the studio. And so, in a way, I'm having a bit of a quiet week, just recalibrating, coming back. And I noticed that I'm having really great difficulty getting back into making my vlogs and my videos on my YouTube. It's almost ground to a halt. And so today I did a little drawing. Whilst I was away, I did a little sketch of my daughter's kitchen. So sitting looking into her kitchen. And I did that recently with my other daughter, Alex, when I went to stay with her for the art fair, I think it was. Yeah, so that was back in May. And just sitting and drawing the lines of the bench tops and the stove and the ordinary things that are in my daughter's homes was it's become so meaningful, a very simple thing, but something that becomes quite meaningful, especially when you go long periods of time without seeing your kids. So I'm going to share with you, I'm redrawing my eldest daughter's kitchen in this video. And just how, very messy lines, my messy wiggly lines that I like. Um, and I just thought, well, what if I could just chat along the way and catch up with you, my YouTube friends? Because I know there's a bunch of you that have come to really enjoy my videos, and I love being able to connect with you. We have the comment section and things, and there's just, I notice the regular names along the way and see you revisit, and I just really appreciate that you've been doing that. And so I wanted to, I don't know, find a way to bring myself back to making the videos. When a long time passes, there's part of me that just feels so overwhelmed with sort of the potential backlog of material that I could use. And so instead of like maybe other people that might be more disciplined and they just might keep it all in the order and sequence that it happened and just bring the videos out later, because it doesn't really matter in YouTube land in a way. If you're not local to the place, you can't get to the art fair that's on at that time anyway. Um, but yeah, that sort of feels, I can't quite make the connections yet. It's like over 2 years that I've been doing this channel, and I still can't quite grasp how to make a whole batch of videos and maybe have them all coming out in advance. And I'm sailing along with the backlog, with the YouTube's lined up, waiting to publish. For the most part, I'll be making the video the same week that it's due out, because I got it in my mind I needed to do weekly. And so it was okay, maybe for the first year or so. I can't even remember how long it took me to do the monetize thing, but that's all very fine. But you've actually got to keep feeding the machine. And oh, speaking of that, I've just been listening the last couple of days to the book Stolen Focus. Johann, I'll have to find his name. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But the book about stolen focus. Oh my gosh, about how the tech companies are manipulating our information, data collection, and just how addictive they've made the apps like Facebook and Instagram, and using our phones, and um, how they're breaking our focus. You might have already heard this information, but it's quite striking, quite incredible, as an example. When we stop and interrupted by our phone, you know how when you're sometimes in the middle of something, even reading a book these days, you think you just stop for a second and you find yourself just putting the book aside and picking up and just checking if you've got any messages. Maybe not all of you are like this, but I know the ones who are, you'll understand. You're checking for messages, maybe check your email, and then you just do that little loop where you check Instagram, Facebook, email, like there's something new could have arrived in the last 15 minutes. And that, and when you stop that and go back to your book, that's all very fine that you think that you only took a few minutes, but apparently it can take us 25 minutes to get back and into the refocus quiet space. So, in other words, when we are interrupted by our phone all day, we are not able to go into that deep focus at all. It's not happening. So it's sort of quite alarming. And so the book has kind of been waking me up quite a bit. Um, there's nothing like a whole bunch of facts and figures and a nice spoken voice reading you the story, the book, to inform you and to take it all in and go, wow, you know, life has really changed here for us in this day and age. So that's playing around in my mind at the moment. One of the gifts I'm going to give myself that I've gleaned from reading the book is even just to go walking and leave my phone behind. I think oftentimes I would take my phone in case I wanted to take a photo, and then in case I wanted to listen to a podcast. And sometimes I might walk the way there with no listening and then listen to something on the way back. But he was saying about the beautiful gift that daydreaming can be for our brain, for our creativity as well, of letting the mind wander as you go for your walk and just see what wants to drop in, and all the thoughts you have. They remind you of childhood, they remind you of all number of things. And so I'm just going to experiment with that for a little bit and see what does that bring, spending some time without the phone, trying to be a bit more conscious, because I've become really addicted to it and it's really interrupting me, and I find it quite difficult to focus on things. Um, I've recently just had the deadline to create the work for the art fair, so that has me having to push things out of the way and almost not do much admin, not do much else except get the paintings ready. Um, so that, in a way, that I will be repeating that cycle because there's another art fair in Sydney in early November. So I'm trying to understand how to work smarter, um, given the distraction that the phone has become. So yeah, maybe that's it for today. I just wanted to say hello and reconnect a little bit, and I will put this drawing on here, maybe with some music. And if I think of something to add at the end, I will. But yeah, we'll see. you're still here, thanks for watching. If you're local to the Sunshine Coast or you don't mind traveling, I have a lady traveling in for my workshop actually. For the 20th of September, Saturday, I'm doing a tiny painting workshop. Here's an example of a little one. You don't have to be painting your little dog into it. I just have been doing a lot with little Aura. Um, so I'll put the link below, details on my website for the tiny paintings workshop. And I got a lovely response to the tiny paintings video I published recently. You might see me in a green jacket if you want to hear more about that. And I do have the intention of eventually making it available online. I don't exactly know when, but yes, if I get better with time management and focus, one would think I could get it done sooner than later. So I thought it might be actually really great to see how what works well in the live workshop and then go from there. Speaking of workshops, I had a beautiful gathering of 7 women for the winter workshop just last month. And so I have a lot of lovely photos and I need to put those together and make a video to show you how that was. It was gorgeous. We had lots of flowers and that this is the painting actually that um, ended up being the demo that I made. That probably didn't get 100% finished, but this is what was the result of the workshop. So yeah, I'm mentioning this in part to sort of remind myself, well, I've told my YouTube friends about it now, I need to do it. I just need to sort of like make all kinds of ways to um, make this work in a way that makes sense and I can somehow get into a flow. All right. Well, thanks for being here and I'll see you next time. Bye.